The body of an unidentified hiker was found in Florida. The search for answers taken up by devoted internet sleuths who collect information and trace evidence, turning the case into a mission to identify the person, simply known by a nickname. This is now the subject of the new documentary, They Called Him Mostly Harmless. Take a look.
No wallet, no credit cards, no photo ID. We don't really know who he is. How difficult is this going to be?
This is my first case. By day, I'm the mild-mannered delivery person, and at night, I get unidentified people identified.
Joining me now is an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, director Patricia Gillespie. Patricia, thanks so much.
Thank you for
joining us. This looks fascinating. What made you want to turn this story into a documentary?
You know, I was initially approached with the story by my colleague, Ethan Goldman at Anchor Entertainment, and at that point, it was, you know, the story of this man who'd been found deceased and had no identity. But what I saw when I looked deeper was a bigger story about the true crime community and the sleuthing community and why these stories really grab us and move us. And I was interested in exploring that and some of these themes about what it means to be alive in the digital age.
There are quite a few cases of unidentified persons, as you know. What was it about Mostly Harmless that intrigued internet sleuths in that community so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some sort of straightforward answers about the fact that he had met so many people on the trail but not given them his name, the fact that he died in this very unusual circumstance. He was emaciated but had food in his tent. There were a bunch of facts about the case that made him interesting, but at the end of the day, I also think it's worth mentioning he's a good-looking, relatively young white guy, and that's very shareable. And there are thousands and thousands of other does who don't find themselves in that demographic, and their stories don't get shared. So I appreciate you asking that question.
We've all heard about these amateur investigators who use the internet to look into these cases. What did you find out about them as you interviewed them for this documentary as a community? What is it about them?
Yeah, so I think there's been a lot of discourse around true crime lately, and I think some of it has been kind of dismissive or critical. And I never mind when they're critical of us, the makers, but there's something that always bugs me when they're critical of our audience.
Yeah, you have said that before, that you don't like how people are critical of this particular community. Why is that?
Yeah, well, look, I think that the true crime audience skews female, and I think like a lot of things that skew female, it's easy to dismiss or make light of. But in reality, there's this perception that these are like lonely women who like gory details or whatever. But I think what's actually going on is an exercise in empathy. I think these are women who are interested, or people, the true crime audience are people who are interested in examining life with these very high stakes of life and death, who are interested in seeing people maintain their goodness in the face of, you know, something dark or evil or scary. And I really wanted to examine it through these women in this story because I felt like they weren't just spectating, they were doing something. And I felt that was special and deserved to be highlighted. There was
a write-up in the New York Times. I'm sure you saw it. It was a nice write-up about the documentary. One line stuck out to me at the very end. The critic had said, the best documentaries turn the camera on us. I'm paraphrasing if she's watching. But that was what I thought. And so I want to know, did you go into this thinking you were going to focus on Mostly Harmless or the community that was trying to solve the mystery?
You know, as a filmmaker, I tried to go in with questions rather than answers. But what started to emerge to me was that to me the real story wasn't about the details of this, you know, private citizen who had unfortunately died under these mysterious circumstances. It was about who he became as sort of this cipher on the internet. That all these people, the hikers, the sleuths, poured an idea into. And it was usually an idea of him being who they needed him to be or wanted him to be or wished him to be. And we do that so much online.
Patricia, thank you so much for taking time to talk about it with us. If you want to find out how the mystery ends, and I can't imagine you wouldn't now, you can stream They Called Him Mostly Harmless on Max.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.